Of all the sports in the world, there's no denying the fact that golf ranks among the most difficult of them all. Many feel it's an extremely complex game that can easily frustrate players, and as we've seen in some cases, cause some players to throw their clubs as far as humanly possible, snap them in half over their knee, or in the case of one golf pro, strike a golf club against their head repeatedly. So stay tuned and don't go away, because we're about to reveal the biggest mistakes golfers make on the golf course. First up, what are some rookie mistakes to avoid? You're about to find out. At times, playing a round of golf can make you feel defeated and discouraged, particularly when making mistakes. And as you're about to see, there are many mistakes that golfers make on the course. One of the most common mistakes is referred to as not taking enough club. Not taking enough clubs is a common problem among recreational golfers. In fact, most amateur golfers tend to miss short 70% of the time. Oftentimes, it can be attributed to inconsistent contact, but a lot of it comes down to poor decision making. Another common mistake or problem for players on the golf course is alignment. If players are aiming incorrectly, it can have awful knock-on effects in their golf swing. Often, players will start compensating without even realizing it and develop a pre-shot routine. To improve your alignment on the golf course, you could use an intermediary target and even throw an alignment stick on the ground when you're on the range. Those little tricks can definitely help if you're struggling with alignment issues. One of the most common and frustrating mistakes players make on the golf course is leaving putts short. This can be really discouraging and sometimes makes players want to crawl into a hole. One of the best pieces of advice when it comes to mastering the art of the putt is to practice hundreds or even thousands of putts from a distance of 5 to 15 feet. If you do this, you'll be able to greatly improve your distance control while you start your putts on the line. Next up, are there other big mistakes that golfers typically make? Absolutely! Hanging back is a mistake that many players will make. Essentially, it's the opposite of sliding. One thing that is key to making great shots is transferring your weight forward on the downswing. Not staying with the shot is a big mistake and goes against one of the golden rules of golf. Players keeping their heads down is generally a bad idea, despite some advice to the contrary. Instead of keeping your head down, try following the golden rule, which is to send the ball into the air. You should hit the head of the club down into the ground. Many would agree that golf is more mental than physical, but as the old saying goes, too much of anything isn't good. So if you want to start playing some great golf, you need to stop overthinking. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, you're telling me thinking too much in golf is a bad thing? Indeed, thinking too much while playing on the golf course can definitely be a bad thing. So don't overthink. You might be thinking, yeah, right, easier said than done. But seriously, one of the keys to success on the golf course is to reduce things to their simplest form. Some players joke about drinking a beer prior to starting a round of golf to avoid overthinking, and if that works for you, then great. Another mistake is confidence to close out a round. When things go well on the golf course, players will sometimes start doing things differently than whatever brought them to that point. You should take one shot at a time, stay in the moment, and focus on your routine. Keep that confidence level up, forget about the scorecard, focus on your golf game, and play one shot at a time. But most of all, and it's amazing how many golfers and even pros forget this, have fun. Stay tuned and don't go away, because we're revealing some of the biggest mistakes that golfers make while giving you tips on how to avoid making them. You do not want to miss this. Up next, what's one of the biggest mistakes that even pro golfers continue to make? You're about to find out. Failing to properly read the green is a big mistake that even the best golfers will make from time to time. One simple way to improve your ability to read the green is to invest in an app like GolfLogix that can help you read the greens the same way pros do. Or, a simple way to improve your green reading is to look for the high spots on the green. Pay close attention to the high spots on the green and where it is along the line of your putt. Another big mistake or a habit that some players will exhibit is bad tempo. Being fast is fine, but you want smooth speed, particularly in transition, as you complete your backswing and start your downswing. If you rush the transition, you'll have a tough time keeping the ball in play. This next tip might seem like common sense, but you'd be surprised how many golfers make this mistake. Don't be too hard on yourself. Golf is a game to be enjoyed. Remember what we said earlier and have some fun. It's okay to get frustrated, upset, or even angry, but you need to get it out of your system quickly and refocus. Do not let it linger and fester. If you do, it could bother your playing partners, and you don't want to be that guy or gal. Another big mistake is a bad grip in fundamentals. This is a really important mistake that you should strive to avoid, especially if you're a beginner. If you have bad fundamentals, your golf swing will get off on the wrong foot, and it could take years of hard work to correct your bad habits. Like any other endeavor you pursue, you want to start out properly right, so pay close attention to your grip, posture, stance, and your alignment right from the start. Next up, how important is it to play the right tees at a golf course? Actually, it's very important. Playing the wrong tees is a common mistake that beginners make. This can hurt the pace of play for the rest of the players on the course, so you should make a conscious effort to avoid that. Another big mistake when it comes to players' golf swings is swaying on the backswing. So what is swaying? Swaying. Swaying is bad for your golf swing because it moves around the bottom of your swing. Sometimes you'll get lucky and hit behind the ball, but other times you'll hit ahead. If you're swaying, you won't be able to consistently hit crisp shots. Also, it's important to have a good pregame warm-up, so don't rush it, ever. And by warm-up, I don't necessarily mean hitting golf balls, but rather stretching all of your muscles out thoroughly. You'd be surprised how many golfers pull something halfway through a match because they either A, didn't warm up at all, or B, totally rushed their warm-ups. During play, one of the big mistakes you'll want to avoid making is not committing to the shot. Committing to your shot means making a decision and not second-guessing it. If you're unsure about the club or shot you've chosen, start over. This kind of falls into what we were saying about overthinking as well. Think clearly, make a decision, and execute. Finally, do players really talk to other players' balls? Let's take a look. Indeed, some players do talk to other players' balls, and of course, that's not something we recommend. For example, screaming, "Get up! Get up!" when your playing partner's ball is near a water hazard won't promote friendship the way you might think. In fact, most opponents downright hate it, and your partners may not appreciate it either. This next mistake is somewhat funny, but according to at least one golf fashion expert, Marty Hackle, never wear black socks with khaki pants. According to Hackle, the contrast is murder. Black is excellent for funerals and job interviews and law enforcement, but it doesn't go well with neutral-colored golf clothing. Your socks should be the same color or lighter than your pants or shorts. Our next big mistake is also quite funny, but is something that could seriously impact your golf game, and it's pretty simple to avoid. Don't eat a massive meal before you tee off. The last thing you want to do is to load up on food before playing golf and digest the meal as you play. This can totally affect your concentration in a negative way, as your mind and body deal with the digestion process, which, depending on what you ate, could be mildly unpleasant. Lastly, a big mistake you'll want to avoid is not getting fit for the right clubs. Back in the 1800s, golfers performed club fitting in some pretty weird ways. To test their shaft flex, they'd waggle their clubs or even lean on them. For a lie angle, they'd simply peer down at the address. In modern times, however, getting fitted for clubs has evolved into a science. Today, the performance advantages of getting personally fit for your set of clubs are the only way to go. So whether you're buying your first set of clubs or your 10th, take a little time and get properly fitted for them before you buy. And that's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching.